The Whirlpool Masters has a rich and varied history. Champions have emerged, some have become legends, others have enjoyed fleeting moments of fame, but all of them have made their mark in this tournament. In 2018, many of those previous champions have returned, and alongside some new faces, they'll once again challenge for the Masters title. The Rock of Gibraltar stands proud and is once again playing host to the Masters. 16 of the world's best players keen to write another chapter in this tournament's history.
Darrell Peach, he leads 3 racks to 1. The man born in Wakefield in Yorkshire could wrap up this European 9-ball Masters title.
And the title of Miller Pilsner European Masters 9-ball champion for this year goes to Darrell Peach.
Got to keep running these balls, not allowing his opponent to get to the table.
The 1997 World Pool Masters champion, Ralf Souquet!
In a blaze of glory, Francisco Bustamante, this is your night!
Superb result throughout the whole tournament, and a worthy champion, Alex Lely from the Netherlands.
The World Pool Master champion, Ralf Souquet!
Championship ball for Francie. I told you!
The man that they say is the world's greatest, the form horse, Ralf
Souquet is the champion. Are you watching in Manila? Are you watching in Manitoba?
Angered is money under pressure.
The white towel from Oliver.
Like a couple of boxers coming out for the last round of a hard-fought contest.
Ralf Souquet lets everybody in the world know that's 5, folks, for the title. And it's there.
Pagulayan, truly the best of the 16 that came to Vegas.
Darren Appleton, this is your time. He's got the 9, and he is in. Dennis Ercolo secures the 9, and all that emotion pours out.
Ralf Souquet has won a big one in the Philippines.
Skowerski, he's lining up for the 3-9 combination.
It is!
Step forward, Neil's fine.
Yes! Come on!
Shane Van Boning.
Can he ever win overseas?
Quite a statement from Shane Van Boning.
For the 2nd year in a row.
But he's the first to successfully defend.
This is what it all comes down to, the shot of his life.
The realisation of a dream. Dynamite David Al-Kaidi.
The format is simple throughout this tournament. Each match a race to 8 racks with the winner breaking. There's a 30-second shot clock in operation, but a single extension can be taken per rack. The opening round sees Fine, the 2013 champion, face Hundal, followed by the defending champion David Al-Kaidi taking on England's Karl Boys. But we start with the tournament's most successful player, Ralf Souquet, who takes on Karol Skowerski. Commentary from Alex Lely and Phil Yates.
We know the weather is pretty terrible back home in the UK. Tonight, it's heart-warming pool. The red-hot skills as legends collide. It's the silver anniversary edition of this tournament, but we can expect all gold on the table. Ralf Souquet wins the lag. With me, Alex Lely. Too early to say whether that's going to be massively significant, but we're about to find out.
Yeah, it's about, about who finds his rhythm and the speed of the table first. And it was very interesting to see how poorly, we can say that, how poorly they lagged for the break. They both missed almost 2 diamonds distance from cue ball to short rail.
One story I must tell you, because of the very poor weather back in the UK, and indeed here in Gibraltar, we've had a terrible storm over the last couple of days. Flights have been having problems getting in. That means that we've had to employ a referee who's a local here, who stepped into the breach, Jason Walker. There's the man in the red tie. He's just racked the balls, and it's a big occasion for him because he's never been on TV before. So let's hope he officiates as well as the players we know are going to play.
Well, in the build-up, he had a calm demeanor. Looks to be dealing with it well. First break to Ralf. Let's see how they open up. So he played a cut break on the one. Was his intention to not hit it fully. Resulted in balls down. One ball in the side pocket, but he lost control of the cue ball. So this will be a very long shot on the two. A defensive shot, that is. Ralf is not the type to look for an early carom on the 8. I don't think so.
I think it's fair to say, Alex, that like all of the greats, he plays the percentages.
Yeah, and then on the conservative side. Wow, nice shot. Very simple, between brackets, but perfectly executed.
We were talking about how emotional David Al-Kaidi was when he captured this title last year. It was a very similar story when Karol Skowerski was the 2012 World Pool Masters champion, because he won the tournament unbelievably. It was a fairy tale story in his hometown of Kielce in Poland.
We were there. 4 Polish players in the last 8. A Polish final, so that was the big grin of Marcin Trzeminski, who was the president at the time of the Polish Federation. Before the final, he was sure that they'd have a Polish winner. Nice kick shot here by Skowerski. This is what he played. Not to make the ball, but in between the rail and the ball. High percentage of not leaving a shot. Relatively easy lock-up safety for Souquet available, though.
He's hard as nails. Measured, calculating, vastly experienced, and always like granite.
Yeah, and well, you know, again, a simple solution, but executed to perfection, because he made sure to not leave that 2-ball in front of the corner pocket. Not from the other side, though. Now the 3 balls well makeable, but the 5 balls not on the table anymore. So Skowerski has to play this with a lot of finesse. Finesse and spin to control the cue ball, to hold it. Yeah, a finesse shot early in the match is always difficult. He played it with drag and side spin. And the cue ball will come out and swerve away, resulting in the thin miss.
Could be really expensive, this. The first chance to get the first rack on the board.
He has to make a choice here to go to center table, trusting his speed control, or go to the second long rail. Could even go all the way down to the short rail. So what we'll now see, what I expect to see, is Ralf's quality. Playing under the gun, never or rarely loses his ability to slow roll the ball.
Should be meat and drink, really, for a player of Souquet's ability. But first rack, when the cue arm is still cold, maybe just a wee question mark.
Well, I like the cut of the pockets on these resin tables. I took a close look at them. They're tight and the shelf is pretty deep. Of course, under these lights, these conditions, they'll accept many shots, but not all. You have to be precise.
Well, in that instance, the man they call the Kaiser was King Ralf. One frame played, the German off to a flyer.
Welcome back to the World Pool Masters and the opening match of this session, Souquet against Skowerski. The German, having taken the first, methodically set about the second. But his opponent hit back in the third to narrow the gap to just one rack. In action later, Niels Fine and Raj Hundal, and then the defending champion David Al-Qaedi, who faces Carl Boys. Back then to our opening match, Skowerski with the break in the fourth.
Choosing to break from the left side of the table. On the last break, Souquet went to the other side with success. So that's something that I would copy for sure. Skowerski thinks differently. He squatted the cue ball. You know, this works if you're sure that the rack is tight. But the beauty for me of a format where the balls are hand-racked is that there's unpredictability, there's variance. So you need to pound the balls on the break. But the good news for Skowerski is that the 3-ball is tied up with the 4-ball, yes. And it's a dangerous position because if Ralf would choose to go from the 2 to open those balls, he risks losing control of the cue ball.
Calm pace, well controlled, but as Alex was saying, this is the key shot now.
Yeah, you know, a safe way to play this is to go towards the 8-ball. But he's looking at that spot in between the long rail and the 3-ball. It's risky. Yeah, like this, he's playing it in a safe way. Still not guaranteed success there. Because if he would play to the left side of the 3, in between the long rail and the 3-ball, then you have that awareness of the corner pocket and the possible scratch, which can result in you under-hitting the stroke. So let's see his kicking skills. A delicate little nudge, the right side of the 3-ball. But he misjudged the cloth.
And now everything's opened up.
Yeah, so his poor break has actually worked for him. The shot clock is coming into play because Skowerski will call for an extension. He cannot hold the cue ball. It seems that he has too much angle. Well, he did hold it. Good shot. Good shot. Actually, that 3-ball was the key shot From here, he's a 5-1 favorite to clear the table, if not more.
Tell you what, Alex, if he repeats his form when he won in Kielce in 2012, he could be a handful. His route to the final there was remarkably beat Shane van Boening, Tony Drago, Nick Vandenberg, and then his fellow Pole, Matthias Snigotsky, to capture the title. 4 very fine scalps.
Yeah, he was cueing the ball really well. Has had trouble, though, to copy that form in the years after.
What an occasion it was, though. Not just personally fantastic for Karol himself, but brilliant for Polish pool in general, because the programme over there, as you well know, has been extensive. They really love their pool in that particular nation.
And ever more Polish are coming through on the European Tour. On the Euro Tour in the last 32, you'll have between 10 and 18 Polish players. Recently, with a 16-year-old winner, Wiktor Zielinski. But this is a good rack by Skowerski. Has calmed his nerves, has controlled the cue ball.
Yes, at 2-0 to Souquet, it was beginning to look a little bit concerning for Karol Skowerski, but the way he's won racks 3 and 4 will, as Alex said, calm down those initial nerves, quell the butterflies. Can't help but think, you know, talking about that great victory for Skowerski in Kielce, the first match in that tournament featured the defending champion, who happened to be none other than Ralf Souquet. He got there, played the first match, and lost it. His tournament was over very quickly. Doesn't want a duplication of that disappointment.
Yeah, he has said it in an interview that although he's a 6-time winner, that's an amazing record, he has also lost on many occasions in the first round. So we saw a medium hard, head-on break on the 1 ball. Nothing in. He did miss-hit that one. He hit it on the wrong side. And he'll feel robbed to not having made a ball on the break.
What you were saying, Alex, about you like the variety when it comes to the break. We're seeing plenty of variety in this match.
Goes back and forth like this with the most important shot, the key shot in this rack. Right now, right here on the 1 ball. If he gets in straight on the 2 ball, he'll be fine from there. He should be fine from there. He didn't trust his speed control to go in between the 4 and 6, so he has played it in a more economical, efficient way to at least be close to the 2 ball and to avoid getting in trouble with that 6 ball.
The pocket sucked the 2 in there. Thought for a moment he'd overcut it.
Yeah, he did. And he did. And it's not said that a shot like that would make the ball drop tomorrow or come Sunday. Now from the 6 to the 7, he does not need to get close to the 7. Center table or... yeah, center table will be fine. So that relieves the pressure on his positional play from the 5 to the 6 and subsequently to the 7.
I think it's fair to say, Alex, with Ralf Souquet, and indeed with so many players involved in this tournament, they've seen it all over the world. Nothing seems to faze them.
Yeah, but that's the whole. That's the key element in professionalism. To be steady, to be solid, to not crash. So as said before, he didn't trouble, he didn't bother getting closer to the 7. And this is what he does so well, because he rolls the cue ball really well. So he'll never try to get closer to his work if he doesn't need to. An underestimated weapon in high-profile pool. Rolling the cue ball. So a dry break by Karol Skowerski. And Ralf Souquet makes all 9 balls. 9 last to score a victory in the 5th rack, regaining the lead.
Yes, a dry break here tonight is about the only thing that's been dry in Gibraltar today. We've had torrential rain at times, some very heavy winds. But in here tonight, it's all about the pool. The weather is forgotten. The action takes precedence. That's the dry break, and it cost him dear, Karol Skowerski, as Souquet regains the advantage.
Yeah, my guess is that, in this tournament, in this format, you can ask the referee to re-rack the balls, but you're likely to get a no. So you'll see many players inspect the rack, look for certain gaps, and with their knowledge of those gaps and of the racking, they'll choose a side and a type of break shot.
It might seem to the uninitiated remarkably nuanced, as we see Jason Walker, our referee, but that minimal change in the way the balls are racked can make a maximum difference in the way they react when you break off.
Absolutely. So now Ralf, even though his last break was successful from the other side, goes back. And that's not a feel thing, that's a conclusion after his rack inspection. A sigh of relief in the Polish camp, because the last rotations of that black 8 ball have blocked the path towards the 1.
Yes, and I'm not sure whether Souquet anticipated that, because he turned around to get his normal cue. Didn't see the black go in the obstructing path. The 2 is blocked.
So after the break, they have double time. Double shot clock. So he's taking this time to assess where to play the push-out to. Any position on the table. He could pocket another ball, he could even touch the 2 ball. But on a push-out, you give your opponent a position, and the incoming player then has choice whether to play or give it back. The player playing the push-out is always at a disadvantage, because he's giving away choice. Doesn't seem to like it. Wanted that cue ball closer to the rail.
But could this be a psychological ploy? Come into my parlor, to the spider to the fly.
Definitely players do it, but it's not something, that I expect Ralf Souquet to do.
No, after that, the head shaking was entirely genuine.
So the only way to go here is to play for the kiss on the 4 ball. he would like, I would like to hit the 4 on the way in.
There's something about that 3-ball that does not agree with Skowerski. In my recollection, that's 3 times he's missed it. And that was the most simple part of the lot.
A lot of spin. Every time he has missed that 3-ball, he was spinning the cue ball, playing with side spin. You really, on this fast cloth, ought to minimize the use of side spin, because there's more cue ball deflection.
Of course, you're commentating, Alex, and it's a good spying mission for you because you're involved in the tournament. You get to see how the table's reacting.
Yeah, but I've seen Shane is sitting here in the stands. He's half hidden. You know, I've seen Carl Boyce around. They're watching. They're studying. That's what you do to get a feel for the table. So a very simple layout for Ralf Souquet, and still it's interesting to see how he goes about it, because it's about doing the simple things perfectly, and that he has mastered. He's not the most flamboyant player, but it's his chirurgic precision that has won him so many titles.
Well, he's one of those players who won so many tournaments, it's literally hard to keep count. I reckon over 250.
Nice. Nice, because he didn't play it with super topspin, but he sort of played a stun run through to keep the ball alive, because on this table, if you play it with topspin, it will die after the short reel.
In the second rack, Ralf Souquet missed a short-range 8-ball, but he didn't miss that 9-ball. And because of that, he's halfway to a place in the quarterfinals.
Welcome back to the World Pool Masters and the opening match on day 1, Souquet against Skowerski. A determined Skowerski made the most of Souquet's dry break in the 7th to pull another rack back. A more tactical rack followed with a bout of safety play before Souquet found an opening to restore his lead. That lead currently stands at 5-3, just 3 racks away from the outright win. Still to play, Fine and Hundal, followed by Arcadian Boys. But for the moment, it's all about Souquet and Skowerski. This is now the 9th rack. Commentary from Alex Lely and Phil Yates.
Rack 9. Ralf Souquet to break. Oh, beautiful. The good old full in the face break. This is 9-ball. And with this speed, it's harder to control all the balls, the cue ball. And that's nicer because we get to see more play.
Now, though, the negative. He can see the 2-ball, but he can't see the potting angle. And anyway, if he could. Position from 2 to 3 would be highly problematic.
Well, the kiss looms large. You can't avoid the kiss there if you don't play it with side. Remember, Phil, you said 20 minutes ago that they always seem so calm. The professionals, the pros, the top players. But Ralf in this mid-phase of the match has trouble to hide his frustration. How's his speed? This could die behind the 6. Just about far enough. And now going towards the 5 from the 3 ball, he needs to combine speed with spin. A lot of deflection of the cue ball. It's a good shot. Played that with conviction.
Well, 5-4 now looks very much on the cards. Skowerski refusing to be shaken off.
Yeah, he's moving with more authority and more rhythm around the table. Rhythm comes when the cue ball finds itself in the proper position, shot after shot. Some 3, 4, 5 shots in a row and the player will move around with more authority.
There are no pushovers, no walkovers in the World Pool Masters, and this opening match is proving to be very competitive indeed. The scoreline now, Ralf Souquet still in front, but only by a single rack. It is 5-4. And it's easy, Alex, to pinpoint the shot that cost Souquet. You predicted it, it happened.
Yeah, and I think, you know, many times with those shots, doesn't matter how good you are, many times you think you can beat the kiss. And in the back of your head, there's this voice, you can't, and still you'll try. But it was the wrong moment for Ralf Souquet to try it.
Karol Skowerski break. Karol trailing by 5 racks to 4.
Wants to copy his previous break. Hit the 1 on the nose with the hard speed, full speed. Almost square in his leg position. Beautiful break. But if we look at the 3 ball, the 3 ball is tied up with the 7. So he'll position close to the 2 ball, as close as he can, and then depending on the exact angle he'll have on the 2 ball, he'll decide how to go about with the 3-7. But the 3-7 cluster being so close to the corner pocket, just like before when Ralf had that position, I don't expect Skowerski to get very adventurous. I say go for the 9. Ride the cheese. Because if he tries to hit the 9, even if he doesn't sink it, he's not likely to scratch.
What was that phraseology again? Ride the cheese.
The cheese, yeah, the 9 ball's the cheese. He wants to go to the cherry, that being the 3 ball. Oh, he played it well, but he got very unlucky. Very unlucky there.
Now it's geez Louise, I can't see the cheese.
Yeah, you know, as a player, you have sort of developed paranoia. If you weigh up a certain shot, you think about all the things that could go wrong, and I don't think this is something that he had foreseen. Still favorite to hit the 3 ball though. And with the legal hit, anything can happen.
The pendulum, which has been very busy in this particular contest, swings again.
Ralf checking to see if there's a path for the 4 past the 9. There is. I mean, even if there's not a clear path, he could use the full pocket. Cheat the pocket. Or if he lands close and perfect on that 4, there could be a 4-9 combination available. Stun forward, in between the 6 and the rail. Ooh, Ralf Souquet. He hit that ball too low. Maybe a millimeter too low on the cue ball. Could be very costly, that error. Oh, surprise, surprise!
What a combination. Ralf Souquet and luck is quite a combination. But you know, with him, he's got so much experience, maybe that was in the back of his mind. What an effort. What an effort. And he could have a very significant impact on the end result. The 9 ball caressed in. A sight to behold for a German champion, Ralf Souquet. Now leading 6 racks to 4. 2 more needed. Originally, it was consternation, then it was calculation. The 4-9 combination. In goes the 9 ball.
Thank you, rack 11, Ralf Souquet to break. Ralf leading by 6 racks to 4.
It had the feel of a quintessential turning point. Ralf Souquet 6-4 ahead against Karol Skowerski. Germany leading Poland. Souquet breaking off in rack number 11. Needing 2 more to advance.
Good break. He did nothing wrong there, other than not making the ball on the break. But the contact on the 1 was perfect. So Skowerski, you feel like having a drink in Last Chance Saloon. 6-4 down, he can't falter here.
Yes, when he came to the table early in the previous rack, there was a cluster, some congestion, which always looked as though it might create problems, and in the end it did. Here, though, the table much more conducive to a clearance.
If he hits the one thin enough, or is he spinning the cue ball? 2 rails and out. Little harder to leave himself the proper angle on the 2, but it seems like he has done himself a favor. Stun draw. Right above the side pocket to the long rail, and then with side spin coming in between the 4 and 8. Well, actually, that's quite a bit of an angle. He has found a nice passage. Beautiful shot. Maybe that's his best stroke, I feel. His best stroke of the match. Now draw back, hoping to not land straight on the 4. Straight on the 4, straight-ish. Houston, we have a problem. I think the only thing he can do here is
extension called.
Try and draw back either into the 5 or finesse it in between the corner pocket and the 5. He's looking at something else. Nice shot. Maybe once again straight in on his next shot, but he's so close to the 5 that this will be easier to manipulate. Wow, to the side pocket. It's a very tight pocket to play to. He doesn't like it. Looks at the corner.
Well, the gap is there.
Oh, that's a nice one. That's a nice one. But is there a passage for the 8 ball to the left-hand corner pocket? Clock is ticking. The 8 doesn't pass the 9, so he will hold the cue ball, kill the cue ball, leave himself as good as possible on the 8, and this is touchy.
A couple of times he's had this kind of shot earlier in the match. An overcut.
Yeah, it's easy to state from here, but I would play for a half ball hit on the 9. Played a good shot. Very positive stroke. Just float this 9 in. Avoid any unwanted side on the cue ball. He should be fine.
You get the feeling as he thrusts his cue butt into the carpet in abject frustration, you get the feeling that could be the beginning of the end. Ralf Souquet, he's living dangerously in many respects in this match, and yet he's now 3 ahead with a possible 4 racks to play. And just look at Karol Skowerski. He knows the importance of the shot he's just missed. Souquet needs 1 more rack, and in a moment he's going to be breaking off in that rack to wrap things up. Alex, this miss must have hurt.
Yeah, he played a good 8-ball, you know, risking to leave himself long on the 9, which he did. But I think he underhit the shot as well. With a little more speed, I think he would have had a higher likelihood of making the 9. He just fell to the pressure, succumbed to the pressure, and the shot clock really comes into play in situations like these. With that awkward angle that he had on the 8, you don't get extra time to reconsider. Do I go into the 9? Do I avoid the 9? Do I play medium speed, more spin?
Well, his head must be spinning at the moment, because if you think about the last couple of racks, a 4-9 combination out of a snooker from Souquet to go 6-4 up, and then a missed 9-ball from Skowerski to allow the German to go 7-4 ahead. And if he makes a good break here and pots a ball or 2, drops nicely on the next one, the end could be 9.
7 racks to 4.
Rack 12, Ralf Souquet's break. Looking too close to deal. Too close to deal. 2 balls down with a makeable off-angle 1-6 combination. Now, so an off-angle combination, by that I mean that the 1-6 are not lined up straight to the pocket. But if he commits himself to making the 6, he should get it.
Yes, 3 balls spotted off the break. What a time to do that. He could be 1 nifty shot away from basically wrapping the whole thing up.
Very nice. Played it with check side to run into that 7-ball. Just about a thick enough hit. Good shot. Now come out high enough on the 7. So either slow roll this shot or play a stun shot with maybe even a little bit of forward movement of the cue ball. Stun run through. Tried. Didn't succeed. So he's on the wrong side of the 7. Looks at the conservative play here. He looked at the cut angle on the 8-ball if he just drops this 7 and stays on the right side of the 8. In der Beschränkung zeigt sich der Meister. That's a German saying. Less is more. Or as Buddy Hall used to say, if you have position, don't play it. In the end, opted for the more authoritative strike. He's on the money.
He's won this World Pool Masters title in 3 different decades. No one's had more success in this tournament than Ralf Souquet, and he started off the 2018 version with a victory. He doubles up on Karol Skowerski. The end scoreline, Ralf Souquet 8, Karol Skowerski 4. He goes through to play the defending champion David Al-Kaidi or Carl Boyes in the quarter-finals. Thumbs up for the Kaiser.
Ralf Souquet, one of the most remarkable players in the history of this event, is on course to win a record-breaking 7th title. He's into the quarter-finals where he'll play the winner of the Al-Kaidi boys match, and coming next, the 2013 champion Niels Feijen against the man who won back in 2005, Raj Hundal.